So, Tatiana, thank you so much for being on the call this morning. I know you've got a lot on your plate. So, again, thank you for taking a few moments out. You just came back from an amazing 2-day event. I know we were talking earlier. You had a lot of great takeaways, you took a ton of notes, and you have some key points that I know you wanted to share today. Why don't you, in this event, just to kind of give a little background, and you can, of course, fill in the blanks, you had some of the best world-renowned motivational speakers in front of you, like, hello, Tony Robbins, are you kidding me? But you also had some of the top business minds in the country, if not the world, in Grant Cardone. But everyone else in between was also just giving you this great amount of information that you took away, and you know that you're going to be able to apply what you learned to your business. And so I wanted to set the tone of where you just came from, and I kind of want to toss the ball over to you, and so you can share a little bit about what you learned, and so that the folks that are listening in on this call today and maybe over the next several weeks in the recording will be able to take away these nuggets and apply it to their active business. And so, Tatiana, I'm going to kind of toss this call over to you.
Thank you, Tony. Very, very excited to be here. And if you don't mind, we can do kind of like a Q&A today, because quite frankly, I've only slept for a few hours after having the blessing of being able to be in front of all these amazing speakers. We had, I want to say, more than 20 speakers, and that included Mr. Pitbull, who is now reinventing himself. I don't know if you know who Pitbull is. I'm sure all of the Latinos that are on the line, they do know who that is. But after seeing his talk, because Pitbull is reinventing himself, he's originally from Cuba, a very successful singer. Do you know who Pitbull is, Mr. Tony?
I do. I think he's an amazing artist, and he's got a great story too.
He has an amazing story, and something he did say on stage, because every time you hear his name, you're like, okay, I'm ready to dance, and jump up and down to his music. But something that he did say on stage is that he is reinventing himself. He became a speaker 2 years ago, inspired by Tony Robbins. So I'm sure we're going to see him on stage, not singing all the time, because he did sing at this event, but also talking about his story, which is very, very powerful. So we did have Pitbull. We had, as you said, Magic Johnson. We had Gary Bishop. And if you're not familiar with his work, he wrote a book called Unfuck Yourself. Amazing book, by the way. So it's called Unfuck Yourself. I know a lot of people feel uncomfortable with the word, but it is what it is. And his speech was off the hook. Something I did notice, and I did take a few notes, well, a lot of notes, but I gathered just a few for the call, because I know we usually keep this call between 15 to 30 minutes at the most, especially now that most business partners are doing their active business on a part-time basis, and until we can become or afford to go full-time on the business. But something that I did notice, Tony, that I do want to share with people on this call is all of these unbelievable human beings, entrepreneurs, they all have multiple revenue streams. I learned, unfortunately, the hard way to never put all of my eggs in one basket. And I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to go through some notes here. Like, for example, Tony Robbins, he owns 52 businesses, you know, and the reason why I wanted to share that with you is because in our active profession or career, we're going to bump into a lot of people who are going to tell you, well, you know, it's just that I don't have time. I have my full-time job and I cannot focus on anything else. Are you kidding me? Tony Robbins has exactly the same time you and I have. and he owns 52 businesses, people. And not only he owns 52 businesses, but he manages 12 of them. How can a human being achieve that, right? He said that his full-time gig, of course, is now the speaking engagements and the seminars that he does, but he leverages his time in a way that is just brilliant. And one of the things that Actives is bringing to our lives is the power that we can leverage our time by building a healthy, productive, fantastic team where each individual can make whatever amount of money they want to make in the business, because timing is on our side. Now, I'm going to go to Magic Johnson. I am not a sports fan, so I did know about Magic Johnson, but it's not that I know a lot about him. Was he a basketball player? He was a basketball player, Tony?
That's correct, yes. Yes.
Magic, and I'm sure people who were born here in the U.S. know about Magic Johnson, right? But what I took from his speech, which is brilliant, is like Magic Johnson could have used the excuse of, well, I'm an athlete, I'm a basketball player, so I don't invest or do anything else because that's my focus. Well, the guy, as we very well know, he owns a lot of different businesses. And he was he was the first in his area to own a Starbucks franchise. I don't know where he owned his first Starbucks location, but that was beautiful to see, because you have this basketball player understanding the franchise model, and that's the reason why he bought the first franchise location in his region, not because he loved coffee, but because he understood the timing of Starbucks, and he understood what expansion was going to mean to him financially. And what I mean by that is that at some point, I believe it was in 2010, he owned 105 Starbucks locations. Did you guys hear me? He didn't buy just one. He bought 105 Starbucks locations, and he sold those locations back in 2010 and made a lot of money, because he understood timing and he understood what the brand was going to mean financially. One of the things that I do want to highlight from his talk, and this we can apply to our Actives business. You just mentioned a few minutes ago, Tony, that people have to or should start their business with a premium pack. As an entrepreneur, I don't see, there should not be any other options, quite frankly, because you have to think big and you have to lead by example. You and I, since we've been business partners since 2012, we never go for the smallest pack. Why? Because we want to lead by example. Not only we invested in a premium pack when we had the blessing of being able to open Mexico, but we also invested in the premium pack when we opened the U.S. Did we have to do it? No, we didn't have to do it. But if we want to lead by example, then that's the right thing to do, especially when you are planning on building a career with Actives. Now I'm going to go to Magic Johnson, and he said something that a lot of people don't think about, and we can apply in our Actives business. He said, look, when I bought my first franchise, my first Starbucks franchise, I didn't go ahead and spend all the money that I made from that Starbucks location. I reinvested it in my business. Reinvest in your business. That's what we just did. Tony and I just did it with the U.S. launch. We reinvested in our business. Entrepreneurs don't say, I spent, $600. I spent. No, you invest and reinvest in your actives business until you get to A16, which, by the way, that should be your goal since you were able to participate in the pre-launch of actives in the U.S. And when Magic Johnson was talking about his expansion, he said, not only I reinvested in my own business when I opened the second franchise of Starbucks, but I did the same thing over and over and over again until I owned 105 Starbucks locations. Okay, how do we apply this? We're going to have the opportunity not only to do business in the U.S. through actives, but we will be able to expand our business into Colombia, into Peru, into Japan without having the need to speak their language. And of course I speak Spanish, but Tony will have the opportunity to expand into South America. Tony, what do you know in Spanish, please? Share with the field.
¿Qué hora es? Te amo.
¿Qué hora es? What
Te
time
amo.
is it? Love you. Okay, let's move
on.
Oh,
no. Pensando en ti.
Pensando en ti, thinking of you. So you see, we have the opportunity of expanding our actives business globally without the need of knowing the language, without the need of us having to fly down there if we choose not to. We only have to share the opportunity with people, with the power that we have, which is called technology, because we use WhatsApp to share our businesses. That's how we've been able to grow our businesses in Mexico. That's how we are pre-building right now in Colombia and Peru through the power of technology. So at the end of the day, who wins? The person who moves the fastest. And the person who is able to duplicate this the fastest. How do you duplicate? By leading by example. We will never ask anything from a business partner that we're not willing to do ourselves. And also, I know you guys have seen or heard this before when it comes to the meaning of team. And Magic Johnson talked about the acronym itself, right? That team means T for together, E for everyone, A for achieves, and M for more. But Tony and I have taken it a step farther, I would say, and we don't call our team. We call our group tribe. And the reason why we use that term tribe is because a lot of people use the word team and they don't even know what that means. Not only they don't even know what that is, but they don't want to work together. They don't even want to work with their own team because they see their team as competition, which I think is so sad. Because if you bring people to your team, and I'm using that word so that we all understand each other, and if you have the responsibility, if they're willing to work, because you do have to work in life, you have to work. You cannot grow your team, quote unquote, from the comfort of your sofa, watching the soap opera or whatever reality shows we have these days, or Housewives or whatever city, who cares? You truly have to build your business with your team, helping your teammates, because this is not about you. This is about everyone who wants an exit strategy. So the reason why we call our group tribe is because, and I'm going to read, if you go to Google and you go to the urban, which my daughter told me about this, she's 14 years old and she's calling me on the other line. If you go to the Urban Dictionary and look up the word tribe, because by the way, I've had some teammates offended by the word, and it's because they simply don't know what that means. They're used to the word team, when in fact a lot of people who belong to certain teams don't want to work with their teammates, which is sad. So tribe, based on what the Urban Dictionary says, which I think is beautiful, It's a group of friends that becomes your family. I even get the chills when I say this because we truly want to build a tribe that we stay connected with for decades to come, which is what we are planning on doing with our Actives business. Actives will be a legacy company, a company that you will be able to give to your children, to your loved ones, if you choose to. But that meaning is huge. The meaning of tribe is humongous for Tony and for me because we truly want to make our group our family, and we mean it. So that's why we don't use the word team anymore because it just lost its meaning. And I hope it makes sense, Tony. I do want to talk, if it's okay with you, I do want to talk about what Tony Robbins said when he was sharing the story of Zappos, right? He was sharing the success that Zappos, the company Zappos had after they went through they were going to shut down the company because they were not making any money. Is it okay if I share that with you? Just 2 small points.
Absolutely. Share us the story. I love to hear it.
So Zappos was offering, free shipping, and a lot of people within the board, they said, well, how are we not going to continue offering free shipping if, we're losing money? So I don't remember if it was the CEO or the COO of Zappos who proposed the following. He said, okay, we can use 2 strategies. The first one, which we can apply to our Actives business if you're building this as a business. If you join Actives just because you felt lonely and you just wanted a group where you can go to events and cheer, then that's a different story. But if you decided to open your Actives business, keeping in mind that this is a business and you want to take it to the top, then just listen to what Tony Robbins shared with us this weekend. He was saying that the Zappos VP or CEO or COO, he said that he had to make sure people knew first who their ideal customer was. So in Actives, we have to ask ourselves, who is our ideal customer? And then we have to ask ourselves, who will buy the most even when the economy slows down? Think about it, guys. Because a lot of people, especially in 2019, they're going to complain about the economy, how it's slowing down, because we're starting to see a slowdown nationwide, right? So we have to think, who is our ideal customer and who will buy the most from us even when the economy slows down. Now, Tony, before the call, he brought up something pretty key, because when we hear about customers in our Actives world, we think about all the ones that are consuming or will start consuming Link and Amora, right? But we have to think beyond that. We have to think about those people. And Tony, how about if you share what you shared with me actually before the call? Because I was just thinking about my Link and my Amora customers.
Well, and I appreciate you touching on the ideal customer, because that's going to be key for our company to expand and grow moving forward, not only in the U.S. but globally. So who is that ideal customer? But see, the customer, using that term, actually is kind of twofold, because you're going to have the customers who are going to want just the products, but we also have to look at the quote-unquote customers who also need the financial opportunity. And so who are those ideal customers? People that are financially in a crisis. And so we have to look at that aspect also. And I think you said it earlier when you actually not on this call, but prior to the call, you talked about our products are going to be great for those who have chronic illness or want to remain healthy, whereas we also have the other customer who has chronic financial health issues. And so we got to take a look at both sides as we move forward in terms of using the ideal, quote-unquote, customer.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Thank you, Tony. And I know we have 5 more minutes, so I'm just going to wrap it up with his second thought, or what Tony Robbins shared regarding the Zappos story. So the first one was, who is your ideal customer? Great point. And then the second one is, he said that they offered an irresistible offer, and they wanted to make sure that they over-delivered. I cannot stress enough how important it is for you to over-deliver. And what I mean by that is that over-deliver to your customers, because people do business with those individuals that they like. Don't force it. A lot of people are not going to like you, and that's okay. So be transparent, be honest, keep your work ethic intact, but over-deliver on your promise, meaning when you bring that customer, quote-unquote customer, as a business partner, over-deliver to them. Make yourself available. Run this as a business with your business partners. I cannot tell you throughout my 12 years of experience in this profession how many people disappeared because they were expecting me to do everything and anything for them. But you have to sit down with your business partners and honestly plan a strategy for their growth and your growth. Because if you're only thinking about your growth, that's not going to last you. I promise you. You will grow the first 6 months. After that, good luck to you. Okay? The second thing is think about your customer, the one that's going to be ordering month after month after month, your Emora, and your Link products, and also gnm-x in Mexico, in Colombia, and Peru. Follow up with your customers. Find out, hey, what do you like the most about Link? Oh, my God, share your testimonial. Use that testimonial in social media, but be active. Actively build your active business. This is not a one-day thing. Oh, we already pre-launched. Good luck. I already rank advanced, and good luck to all of you. It's not about that. What Magic Johnson said was every time you have a business, you focus on your business venture for the next 3 to 5 years. Amazing. Focus on your business for the next 3 to 5 years. When he bought the 105 Starbucks locations, he didn't say, okay, let me see how it's going to go for the next 2 months. He had a short, medium, and long-term plan for those locations. Anyhow, a lot of content from this event, Tony, and I can continue talking for hours because I learned a lot, and I would love to share as much as possible with all of you. But I know we are 2 minutes into, we only have a minute, basically, for this call.
Wow. So, Tatiana, thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy morning and sharing the information that you that you gathered from this past weekend. I took a lot of notes, so let me just kind of sum everything up here. First of all, leadership, hugely important. Be the servant leader. Whatever you do, your team is going, or your tribe is going to follow. The time blocking, I wrote time blocking down because, you've got Tony Robbins with 52 different companies. He started 12 that he personally manages. The only way you can do that is to block your time. Of course, lead by example. Who is your ideal, quote-unquote, customer? Identify those, and those are the ones that are going to be with you long-term. Over-deliver in what you do, in everything you do. And then, of course, focus on your business. This is long-term. This isn't just an overnight gig. Long-term meaning, hey, for the next 3 to 5 years, focus on this. And you'll be able to get anything that you want. And then the last thing that I like to just share with you, Magic Johnson, 105 Starbucks, like you mentioned, he reinvested money every time he opened up one. He'd open up another one, open up another one. Guys, what we're doing here at Actives is one in the same. This is what Magic Johnson did on the Starbucks scale. We can do the same thing here on an active scale and be just as successful. Crazy to think that for a $500 investment, you can be as successful as Magic Johnson. And so with that, guys, we are at the bottom of the hour. One more time, Tatiana, thank you so much for all the information you shared. And with that, this call is in the books. Thank you, everybody.